Well, hold on a minute. I think you're, yeah, now you're live.
Do we have paperwork?
We have any.
Oh, yes, I do, sorry.
I have to have something to read.
That's right, yeah. So here's the budget resolution. And so, This is a little-
This is what we came for.
so this is a little different than the notice that the public would have seen if there was any public here taking a look. I've also got kind of final budget forms in case you guys
Okay.
want it for your files.
Have we called the meeting to order yet?
No, yes.
Could we do that? We'll call the meeting to order of the Noblesville Township Board, October 1st, 2025. And we have one item, and we'll be discussing that momentarily.
Yes. So before we open up the public hearing, I'll just say again, this is a special meeting to have the public hearing on the budget. Again, the notice went out at least 10 days ago for this meeting. I can't remember exactly what day that was, but it was sometime late September, but again, at least 10 days ago. That kind of summarized some of the figures that we have in front of us on our resolution. So that has been available for the public to view since we noticed that on the website. I do have the full budget in front of us. If any of the board members or public have any questions on anything. But again, these are the same numbers that we've looked at, I think back in August. So again, we made some minor adjustments at that August meeting, but nothing since then. So all of the figures you have are the same as we've discussed since August,
Which have been advertised.
which have been advertised.
So the first item on our work today would be opening the public hearing.
Yes, you'll close the business meeting
Oh, okay.
and then open up.
Are there any questions while we are in the business meeting that you would like clarified on the budget that we have looked at a couple of times? And as Corbett Thompson just said, there are no changes. This is just another copy so that we can have copies everywhere. And appreciate all your work, Corbett. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Do you have anything, Joe? I would like to mention at the opening, we do have all members present.
No, not really, but if I had, we'd already discussed it.
You've already discussed it. Okay,
I'm good.
we're good. All right, we're good. So we'll close the business meeting. Does that take a vote?
Yes, I need a motion.
All in favor to close the close the business meeting, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Business meeting is closed. We will open the public hearing. All those in favor of opening the public hearing, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. The public hearing is open. I see no one present. So I make a motion to close the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? No.
We don't have to vote.
Nope, there's no voting today.
No
Technically,
voting on that?
nope, no voting on that.
Okay.
If you
So
want to
we'll just close the public hearing.
you can close the public hearing.
Okay. We have now closed the public hearing, and I would
Just put down
Ask
307.
Corby
that was open.
to-
308, it was closed.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was it.
I will ask you, Corby, to take us to a conclusion. I'm wondering, just for the record, should we read the ordinance
That's what I was just
resolution?
thinking. Do we not have to enter that ordinance?
You don't actually have to with this
Oh.
one. There's just, the requirements are different than standard resolutions and the fact that you really just are required to have the public hearing as we are doing today and quote adopt at least 10 days after you have the public hearing. Plus then there's also the advertisement period of 10 days before the public hearing. So
So this has been advertised, this
Yes.
paragraph at the top.
yes,
would the board like to just enter that in? So if there is anyone out there listening, we can, remind them what we're doing
I
today.
think that would be a great idea.
Okay. Since I forgot my glasses, I'm sorry, would you like to read that, please? No?
No, we should.
I can read.
Okay,
You read it.
Courtney's going to read.
But I must make it.
Be it resolved by the Noblesville Township Board that for the expenses of Noblesville Township, Hamilton County for the year ending December 31st, 2026, the sums herein specified are hereby appropriated and ordered set apart out of the several funds herein named and for the purposes herein specified, subject to the laws governing the same. Such sums herein appropriated shall be held to include all expenditures authorized to be made during the year unless otherwise expressly stipulated and provided by law. In addition, for the purposes of raising revenue to meet the necessary expenses of the Noblesville Township, Hamilton County, the property tax levies and property tax rates as herein specified are included herein. Budget Form 4B for all funds must be completed and submitted in the manner prescribed by the Department of Local Government Finance. This ordinance/resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage and approval by the Noblesville Township Board, which that will be approved at your next board meeting, so you choose, on October 15th.
So we do this now and then we approve this next time.
Correct. Yeah, you don't even actually technically have to have a first reading of this. You just have to have a public hearing on the budget. Essentially, when the notice went out, it basically says, here's some basic information on the budget. If you have additional information or would like additional information, a full set of budget forms is available at the township. So when that notice goes out, right, we have to be able to at least, supply anybody from the public with at least some form of
Sure,
budget
so they can
forms.
see
Yes,
where our budget's
yes.
going.
Go over the, adopted tax rate one
Yes.
more time with us.
Yeah, so the adopted tax rate considers the estimated assessed value of the township. Okay, so that's not necessarily known at this point. We're also usually pretty conservative when it comes to that. And the reason that we do that is that we want to make sure that your rates are high enough to get the levies that we're essentially going for. Because the DLGF will either take the less of the levy that you've applied for or the rate. So if the assessed value, for whatever reason, goes down, I don't know, I'm not aware of anything that would cause the township's AD to go down. But if there was, the rate might be lower than the actual levy that we applied for when you consider the relationship of the calculation. So that's kind of why we do that. So I would anticipate your adopted tax rates will be less than what we're going to adopt. But I will mention this on the tax rates too. There's a very small tax rate that goes to the township as a whole. A substantial portion, almost all of your tax rate is essentially a levy on the township folks outside of Noblesville, the city, to pay for fire. So that's the biggest levy that the township has. And you can see out of the 28-cent rate we're kind of displaying here, 27.5 of it or so is related to the fire district or the fire contract. Yeah.
So explain that just for the taxpayer in terms of, now I have a rate shown on my tax bill, and I went back and looked, and it was $4.
Yes. So this is only the township's tax rate. This doesn't include the overlapping taxing units. So
Right,
the city,
I need to clarify that. That
Correct.
was the
Yeah, so-
township tax rate was $4 total,
correct.
and
Yeah, I know. I believe Noblesville, it's either $1 or $2. It's pretty much, I believe, what they would kind of typically go for. The city, then you've also got the schools, you've got the county, you've got the township, you've got libraries, you've got special districts, if there are any, that can all go into calculating what your overall tax rate is. Not the only thing that you guys obviously have control over is what the township does and what you guys levy on township taxpayers. So that's the relationship when you say, well, I'm getting charged a lot more than 28 cents on my property tax bill. Yeah, because there's a lot of other overlapping units that have their own tax rates.
Go into that.
Yes. Yes.
And everyone should be, amazed at what you can do with 28 cents.
Okay.
I think it's good use of
Mhm.
a relatively small budget. I mean,
Right.
We're definitely the smallest budget.
Right, and I know the
Tax
logic.
unit.
Yeah, and I know the logic behind that is that Noblesville's providing fire service. I don't know what the tax rate at Noblesville is, but it wouldn't surprise me if to run the fire department between the local income taxes and a property tax levy that might be allocated to running the fire department, they might be right in that same ballpark of 28. I don't know. I'm just,
No, it's a
that's
lot
the
more.
logic here is that you're receiving the same service that anybody in the city is receiving.
Well, and they are.
So,
Okay, any questions on that? The whole tax rate and the bill that we get is often a mystery.
yeah, and I see that a lot more in cities and towns where people will come in and complain about the tax, how their property taxes went up. Well, it's, a lot of times I have to tell them, well, if you're my client, typically I'm trying to keep the tax rate fairly steady. So if your taxes went up, most of the time it's because your assessed value went up.
That's 99%.
Yeah. Now, obviously there are times where there's referendum rates or there are
We
increases in
have a
tax rates, but
referendum and.
Yes,
tax
we
rate
do.
for the schools.
so exactly. So there are other things that can just straight up increase your property tax.
Is there
Yeah.
not some state legislation going on that proposes to reduce the tax rate?
Yes. Well, not necessarily the rate. As a matter of fact, it will probably increase your rates.
Yes.
It will probably increase your property tax rates. Now, what a residential, really all property tax bills will be impacted by this and they'll be reduced. So your property tax liability will go down.
Only if you're assessed at a certain value, not everyone's going down.
While the homestead deduction will be increasing for everybody.
I think it has already increased.
Yeah, I think they're,
Increased a couple of years ago.
well, I know they're gonna move to a 30% homestead deduction beginning for 27.
Okay.
And it's gonna work itself all the way up to a 60%. I believe by the time it's 2028, maybe.
I think there's a qualification of, it only goes up to a certain level of homes and then the others, but we'll.
Yeah, I'm not sure what all the details of that are, but I guess from what I've gathered is that the general gist of it is that you're gonna have increased circuit breaker credits because of these these homestead deductions, basically. Your residential taxpayers will have a smaller portion of your overall property tax bill. Commercial and industrial may see an increase. Now, there's also legislation that is taking away like a 30% floor on basically equipment. Like they're getting rid of the floor.
No personal property.
Right, yeah, personal property amounts. So there's all kinds of other things that are going to impact it. And it's really hard to know exactly what it's going to do. But the general understanding is that it's going to probably increase your circuit breaker credits because your tax rates are going to increase and your levies are going to still, my understanding is you're still going to be able to increase your levy about the 4%, that state average growth quotient that they give every year.
They're gonna let the cities and stuff also add extra taxes to
Yeah.
offset what they feel
That's
like
right.
they need,
There's local income tax changes coming too.
and then they can up that.
Yeah, and certain cities and towns will now be able to actually have their own local income tax rate, separate of the counties. So yeah, again, there's certain places, it depends what your current tax rates are, and depends what your current, income base is, on as far as how that's going to impact you guys. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff up in the air.
Yeah. And if,
Yeah.
Well,
My big crazy question. It said, homestead deduction,
Mhm.
Everybody don't have that or need that, or how does that work?
oh yeah, you did.
I think everybody, well, and maybe there are certain, special exemptions or whatever it may be where you don't qualify for it. But my understanding is in general, everybody's going to qualify for this new
Yeah.
homestead deduction. It doesn't matter even if your property's mortgaged or not. It's-
Yeah, mortgage exemptions are gone.
Right.
Homestead, everybody gets what
Yeah.
they, because what happened is it hurt the people that had already paid off their house and then they got hit hard. So this will be, which everybody wants to make sure they filed their homestead. And then it'll take, say, hypothetically 45,000 off of your value. And so you'll get that credit.
Right.
Did you have to apply?
Yes,
Yeah, I mean, when you usually,
most
the
everybody's
title
already,
services, usually when you close in at home, will take care of that.
but if
for you.
you're closed a long time ago, you
Sure.
own your house,
You
please
need to
make sure.
check.
Just
Yeah.
call the
Yeah.
auditor's office
Oh,
and
you mean
ask.
if you bought a new house?
Yeah, then they apply.
If you buy, yeah, if you like buy a new, like anytime recently, the title companies are gonna take care of that for you. But yeah, if you bought your home 40 years ago,
I had a friend that bought theirs 10 years ago and didn't know.
really?
Yeah, and they were
Yeah.
saying theirs was so much more than their neighbor. And we found out they didn't have a homestead.
Yeah, they always
So
tell
you
you.
better check on that home.
Yeah, and they tell you to double check too.
Double check.
Even when you're,
Even when you're
I-
doing closing,
yeah.
to make sure it gets there.
yeah, I just moved.
And
in.
So how do you
I moved-
apply if you need to apply?
Auditor's
Okay.
office
What's that?
Well,
is probably online now.
30,
I used
20
to do
years ago,
those.
30 years
I
ago.
bought my house 7 years ago.
I mean,
Been mine 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Well,
I wish, that'd be nice.
Well, I mean, that's what, if you,
We'll
You
get there
did.
one day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
they
pay for
have
it.
Yeah.
one.
No, I agree,
I
yeah,
hope
especially
you
right
do.
now.
It's
So
free.
they pay
every-
cash
You said
for
you
it.
just
Then
buy
that-
it?
you
You
start
bought
Yeah,
buying
we
homes.
just moved in.
Coming up.
Yeah, we
But
moved in
You
last
always
Wednesday.
get title.
oh,
Where at?
Yeah, Noblesville.
The mortgage
Oh.
exemption's different.
Off of
That's a whole
Pebblebrook Golf
separate-
Course,
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
191st in
Some
North
people
Chicago.
That is
came in and
different.
did their homestead and
That's
had
a
a
nice-
mortgage.
Yeah.
With no mortgage, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
I'll dig that out.
So you are in our
But
township.
I would have to apply.
I would say, I was gonna say
Only
it's right on
you
the
have it
border of
in my-
Noblesville and
that's-
Westfield,
you
so I was
don't
like,
have it.
I'm
Yeah.
assuming it's Noblesville Township.
I'll put that on.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
But yeah, take a look at that.
I don't know, that's a
Noblesville
good
Township
place because that my granddaughter moved south from,
Did she?
right south of Bill.
Yeah, yeah.
And, I think her, I don't know, I think she's in Washington Township, but.
Yeah, Westfield.
Yeah, Westville, Washington.
Yeah, it just depends how, because I'm right on the border, but I am in Noblesville, so I'm,
So basically like the Gray Road and the
Mhm.
Moon Town. So the Gray in Hindi side and the Moon Town. So
It's
the
on
the
the
Moon
west
Town
side,
this
yeah.
side, that's Noblesville. The
That
other
one
side
side
is
is
Westville.
Well, you can't say that, if you have to say west side or east.
No, I don't know about East and West.
Not go forwards, backwards, and sideways.
East.
well, it's funny too, because we're like 5 minutes from Westfield High School.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
Noblesville High School's pretty close too, but
yeah.
I was like, nah, that would have been an
You
easy
close to the
drive.
ball
Yeah,
diamond and the elementary.
yeah,
Across
Grand
the
Park's right there. Yeah, it's-
Any
Yeah, I
other
haven't thought about
questions?
that.
So
you
do
know.
I need to ask this
I
to
pay
you?
too much active.
That what Miss Teresa says in that text?
You know,
Let's-
because your house is.
I think I've got everything. that I
That's
need.
where it all
Don't
comes in.
ever
Okay.
sell things. Keep them. Keep them till you
Let
die.
me see
Then the kids worry about it. I sold them too soon.
Yeah,
Mm.
well, the way rental's gone up, you couldn't make headaches too.
Okay, so we are, passing this today or the
No,
15th?
no, we're all done today unless you guys have any other business you guys want to talk about.
Very good. Any other business? Any other questions?
So that additional appropriation is that good for?
Yes,
On
yeah,
Wednesday.
we'll plan to, I'm gonna try to get that. I'll send it to you. If Teresa can get it published, we'll do the 15th. If the paper says we can't do it, we're not gonna stress it. We'll just do it in November.
Okay.
Okay, but in the meantime, what did we just?
In the meantime, you can pay. You can go ahead and get
You
started.
just go ahead and
If
do
you
it.
guys
And
want
what-
to formally
What
set it
fund would we take it out of?
rainy
rainy
day.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. You can let Shauna know.
Yeah, so the meeting is done, so I'm gonna turn this off.
Well, we're still thinking
Is there
if we
anything-
have a question. One moment.
Does anybody
Okay.
else have a question?
Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I make that motion.
I'll second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much for coming in on a special.
So we don't sign this till next time.
Correct.
So we need to get this back.
Yeah,
You
you
can
won't
keep
have
a
to
copy
pull
if you want,
another.
but-
Well, I don't know if they'll have it. None of
We
them
get,
force-
we get
I'll have
signed
another